Okay, right. So I suppose for the purposes of this, I'll just tell you again. So like I said, my name is Shyam Dattani, and now I am at Searchmetrics. And with Searchmetrics, I do the digital strategy. I'm their digital strategy specialist for EMEA and APAC. So like I said, managing most of the clients that we have on our enterprise levels. And obviously now Turkey is a key region for us. It's growing. You guys are growing because of clever people like you. Everything is getting better. So we want to help you guys to do the same. So like I said, this presentation is about mobile because as you guys know, mobile is becoming really, really important. Just for a show of hands, who has a smartphone?
All of us.
Who didn't raise their hand? All right, good. You're in the right presentation then. So we'll just go and look at some statistics. So this is the global number of mobile users versus desktop users. As you guys can see, desktop actually got overtaken by mobile. So mobile, as you know, is getting much, much, much more important, especially for websites and for businesses that convert online. Even if you want information, everyone is using their phone. In regions like this, you know, where not everybody has a desktop computer, not everybody has a phone line, mobile is even more important than anywhere else. In fact, it has been shown that more people have cell phones than they do toilets in the world. So if that doesn't make you think about mobile, and if that doesn't make you tell your clients about mobile, really nothing else will. So first things first, the timeline with Google. So this is kind of small on my side, so I will be having to look back. But basically in December 2011, Google announced the launch of Google Bot Mobile. So the idea was that they were actually going to be tracking mobile, they were going to be thinking about mobile a lot more. In 2013, they actually devalued pages with problems with mobile. In August, they added mobile support. So their page speed tools started to think about mobile a lot more. In November 2014, they added the mobile friendly tag. So you know when you're searching on the page and it says mobile friendly, this page is mobile friendly. So when the user is searching, they know which page to click. So they were trying to make it more accessible, more important for the user to understand which pages they should go to. And then obviously everyone knows that in 2015, in April of this year, they had Mobilegeddon. Now Mobilegeddon was spreading across the SEO world. You know, we love these Mobilegeddon, Panda, Penguin, we love these cool words. So Mobilegeddon was becoming the new thing to talk about. Every year, SEOs need something to talk about. Backlinks, links, internal links, page rank, Mobilegeddon now. So this was the rollout of Mobilegeddon. When we look at it, these are the type of things that I was mentioning in February the 4th, they did this. And this is the kind of thing that we're seeing a lot more. On the 21st of April, 2015, they actually released some information about this. On their Webmaster Central page, they had information about mobile to say, okay, we are now going to be taking mobile a lot seriously. If your pages were not optimized for mobile, we will punish you. The pages that are optimized for mobile, we will push up. So you have to imagine, if you're on a level playing field, if you're together like this, competitor A, competitor B, if he is optimized for mobile, he is going up. If you are not, you are going down. So the gap between you is a lot bigger. Does that make sense? The gap is a lot bigger. And although when they did it, there was a lot more hype. People thought it was going to be so big. Everyone was going to crash and burn and die. When they did it, we tested it, we realized it is very important, but it didn't destroy sites. The reason for this is because Google is not punishing sites in the same way that they do for desktop sites. When they're looking at mobile, when they're looking at mobile friendliness, we are not looking at the whole site. We are not looking at the domain as a whole, whereas if you look at the desktop, sometimes they punish the whole website and everything goes down. This is on a page-by-page basis. They are looking at individual pages. This means that if you have some pages that are not mobile-friendly and some pages that are mobile-friendly, the mobile-friendly ones would do better than the non-mobile-friendly ones, but not everything is going to crash and burn. Shoot.
However, how about we have two different URLs for desktop version and mobile version? I mean, our website is not responsive, but we have www.company.com
and then m. Right.
So www version is not mobile friendly. For sure.
Yeah.
So do we have the same problem?
Well, hold that thought, and I'll get back to you on this because it's in there. So it's a good question, and we'll bring it up. But this is something to tell your clients or tell the owners, to tell someone important. 57% of people would not recommend their business with a bad mobile site. 40% have turned to a competitor's site after a bad mobile experience. And 23% of people swear at their phones when things don't work. You know, when you're sitting there and, oh, shit, this is not working anymore. So this means that you have to go mobile or good luck, okay? If you're not going mobile, things are not going to go well for you. So what we did at Searchmetrics was we put engineers on the case. At Searchmetrics, as you guys know, we have a lot of data. We have loads and loads and loads of accounts. We track like 700 million URLs on a weekly basis with billions and billions and billions of pieces of information. So we are able to look at all of the data and see what's happening. So we get to be at the front of the curve with the information. So what we did was we looked at some of our resources, around about 300,000 URLs, and we looked at the top 30 results over 10,000 keywords. In fact, now the information is getting even more, so we've looked at it again and brushed up some more keywords. We used multiple industries to check this so that we could check the data and actually see with numbers and figures and statistics what's going on. So no more doing this and seeing maybe this, maybe that. We use numbers and data. So really and truly, it's all about how to prepare for it. Although it's already happened, the rollout of things, as you guys know, you guys are in a very lucky position. I like to think anyway, because in the UK and in the US, we are the guinea pigs. They test everything on us to see what's going to happen. And so you guys can watch and laugh at us while we are crumbling on the paper. Oh no, everything's going bad. And whatever happens, you guys know that this is soon happening here. So you guys can prepare. You guys have an advantage, right? You can watch what's happening in the West and fix everything in time for when everything eventually happens more forcefully here. So we're going to talk about what happened. So when it did happen, we actually saw a positional change. So the not mobile-friendly URLs, we saw that they actually were dipping. They dipped in terms of what they were, and the mobile-friendly ones went up in average position. So this is why we were saying that it is very, very important. In fact, the next statistics they show you. On the left-hand side, we see April. This is before and around the update. How many percentage of sites were not mobile-friendly, not optimized for mobile? You see, this is the case. When we look in September, we see that the pie chart changes because a lot more companies started to optimize for mobile. So what this means is that if you are not doing the same thing, you are already falling behind because everyone else is, so you need to make sure you are too. Again, I'll show you a use case study example. This is some data we actually have in Searchmetrics. We see here, this is one company's SEO visibility versus their mobile SEO visibility, so the difference between the two, okay? When we look at the SEO visibility in the beginning, around the first, they had a 44% difference in the beginning, before the mobile update still. But as time goes on, because they didn't change anything, the gap between the two widens. So now from 44% difference, it's 67% difference. That means that if you are looking at your website and there is a difference, if there are conversions happening on mobile, if there are rankings on mobile, if lots of your clients are using their phones, as we saw in the first slide, more people are, the gap between what's good and bad gets a lot worse. So even if you're having a healthy desktop site, it could be the case that on mobile, you're not doing well at all, and things are going wrong for you. So one thing, so what I'm going to try and do today, if I tell you quickly before you get stuck into the real numbers, is I'm going to try and show you some statistics, some figures, some bits of information about mobile. I'm also going to give you some key takeaways and some tips and tricks, so you're not just sitting here watching. It's also going to have some fun, so don't get bored, because I hate boring presentations. I can't sit there in them. I fall asleep. I'm the first one to sleep, so I want to make sure no one sleeps like me. So first thing, okay, first step. This is the news. More fat people in the world. Why is this important? Okay, you think, why is there are more fat people? And this news is from Turkey. So I don't know, maybe everyone should look at their belly and see if they are one of those fat people. But I know one of our colleagues here is looking at himself right now, and he's looking around wondering, is he talking about me? But he knows who he is. So this is a problem. Why is this a problem for mobile? Because like me, you have fat finger syndrome. My hands are big. When I'm tapping buttons, yeah, and I'm pressing the button, and I type some text messages, I mean to say lol, and I type pool. I mean to say hello, and I'm like you. It's stupid, it's crazy. But this is a problem. When your thumb can't press buttons, you can't use things. So this is actually something about mobile. This is one of the things, one of the key tips for the day. When you are thinking about mobile, remember this. Remember that people have different hands. They have big buttons, small things. People have different screens. So if you are putting links so close together, and he tries to click it, every time he keeps clicking the wrong link, it's not going to be good. right? Google always, always, always checks user feedback, okay? User usage. They are always looking at this. So they know what's happening. If I come onto your website and I land on your website and I don't like your content and I leave and I go to someone else's website, then Google starts to say, oh, this website is not good for this content. This website is no good for this search. He keeps going from here to here, and then there he's looking at lots of pages doing good. So now Google will take this person and move them up. Does that make sense? Does that understand why? Is it logical? Very logical, right? So because Google is going to do this, you need to be thinking about the user statistics. When they come onto your website and they click some links, if they keep going to the wrong thing and they keep leaving, the bounce rate is going to shoot up. If the bounce rate shoots up, Google sees this as a signal, and it's not going to be good for your site. So help the fat people of the world and make your links a little bit further spread apart. Optimize your URL, optimize your page for those people, okay? People don't want to navigate like this. And this is proven if you look at the font sizes, okay? So we looked at font size above the fold, and in these, the red one, the dark red one is the desktop, the mobile, and the thin light one is the desktop. As you can see, when we look at the text size differences between the desktop and the mobile, the top 10 positions, so this bit is all the top 10, so the best people who are doing it the best. The top 10, you can see, the bigger the font, the better it is, the easier it is to use, they are at the top. Okay, you can see the clear correlation. Obviously, afterwards, in the mix of the third page, second page, it all kind of levels out because these people are all either good or bad. But at the front, you can see the clear correlation. So this backs up this theory. And you know, these are the problems that people see.
The fingers you have used to dial are too fat. To obtain a special dialing wand, please mash the keypad with your palm now.
So this is me, always pressing the button.
The fingers you have used to dial.
So this is a true problem. So another thing that Google is saying about content is that they are going to prioritize usable content. Okay, content that, one, they can crawl, content they can see, and content that is usable. This is, again, for the users. Users need to be able to use your content. How many times have you gone onto a link, you think you're going to see the page, or maybe you're running and the signal is dying and you need to quickly see something? If you've got an iPhone like me, your battery is always dying. Yeah? You are stuck to the wall because you're always charging it on 1%. Now, if you're going onto the page and the first thing, you hope to see the information quickly. You want to know the football scores, okay? I'm a Chelsea fan, so I'm always watching the football. In fact, I need to know what the score is now. But this is something I want to do. If I go onto the page and suddenly there's a pop-up, there's an AdSense, I'm not having a good user experience. I'm not happy, okay? I'm going to have to click X, I have to go off this, have to go off this. Google recommends that for mobile, you have to be smart. Ad links, AdSense, these things, look at the averages. As you go from 1 to 10, look at the number of people using AdSense. Look at the number of pop-ups. Look at the number of things on your page. Conversion is important, yes. But who is going to convert if they don't stay on your website? Right? If they're not engaging with your content, if they're not able to see what's going on, people are not going to be engaging, people are not going to be converting. This is one of the things, okay? Obviously, in the beginning, you have to also think, right, with statistics, you have to think some big ones at the top are going to be brands. So they don't need to have too much advertising when you land on the page. But the correlation is still very clear, yes? So on the next one, legibility, okay? Can I read the page? Do I have to try hard to read the page? This is not just about font size, but it's about the pinch and scroll. How many times have you gone to a website and it's exactly the same as the desktop site and you have to pinch, read, move down, pinch, read, move down? This is not easy. When you're using your phone, you're mobile most of the time, right? Sometimes you're sat on the table and it's okay, but other times you're mobile. If I'm trying to read and I have to keep going like this, then this is going to be a problem for me. This is not good user experience. Google can see this. So they want you to avoid the pinch and scroll, okay? They want you to use defined viewing areas that reflect to the device size, right? They want you to use content that flows into the viewpoint. You don't have to keep scrolling and moving in the screen, because when you have to keep scrolling and moving into the screen, this is what you want to do to your phone, right? You want to break the phone. We don't want you to do this. So what does Google suggest? Google suggests to use responsive design. okay? Why do they suggest to use responsive design? Because when you use mobile, everyone has a different phone. So I have a 6 Plus. My screen is this big, okay? Some people have an iPhone 4. Lots of people still have an iPhone 3. It still goes up. An iPhone, because they love to rob us, make a new phone every single time. iPhone 6, iPhone 4, 4S, 5, 5S, 6, 6S, 6 Plus. How many every single year they do this? So phone sizes just keep getting bigger. Eventually, we're just going to be walking around with TVs, and walking like this. So you need to make sure your content is changing for those people, right? Because you don't want to have to keep changing it every single time. You have to optimize. Responsive design means less problems for you. Yeah, you do it once, you make it work, and responsive design can help you out. And in fact, this is said specifically by Gary Iles of Google. This is coming from the source. This is coming from Mr. Google himself. So it makes sense. And again, we back it up with statistics. We took out Wikipedia because Wikipedia skews everyone's results always, so we're not looking at Wikipedia. But when you look at the number of responsive design, you can see responsive design is a lot higher in the mobile size than the desktop size. Everyone needs to be responsive. Next, don't disallow resources. Before, webmasters used to disallow a lot of resources for mobile because they thought Google was having problems with this. But Google uses those resources in your page, like extra things in your page, to understand whether your site and your page is actually responsive. Because they'll look and see, oh, this is there, this is there, this is there, this is a responsive page. We need to be able to crawl the page. If you can't crawl the page, they can't help you. Right? If they can't crawl the information, they're not going to be able to do well. So use the Google Mobile Friendliness tool. Okay? It's there. Check, is your site mobile friendly? Okay? Don't use Flash. Right? Unfortunately, Steve Jobs wasn't very, very good friends with Flash. So as far as Steve Jobs is concerned, and everyone has an iPhone, most people, some other people have an Android, but Flash and iPhones don't work. So as iPhone users go up, the number of people that are going to be able to use your content goes down if you're using Flash, right? So the reason that mobiles really don't use Flash is because Flash code is a compiled code. When you're looking at it as eyes of the machine, Flash is a bit difficult to play with, a bit difficult to read. HTML5 is changing this, so everyone is going to be moving to HTML5 because with HTML5, it reads it like it's text, so it can read the code. So don't wrap your things in Flash, use plain text because that can be spidered, okay? Again, the Flash. So here, in fact, if I move out of the way, here, what you can actually see is we have put it pre-mobile getting, right? In 2014 is the gray one, so how it looked mobile 2014, then how it looked pre-mobile getting, how it looks now. Look at the number of Flash users, okay? The number of percentage of people that are using Flash. And as you can see with all of these graphs, the further you go into the rankings, the more, well, rubbish it becomes almost, if you think. Because everyone does it really, really good in the first 10, which is why they rank on page 1, and then later on, slowly, 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 it gets worse. So, like I say, don't use Flash, okay? One of the next most important things, I think one of the key most important things is speed, okay? You need to be able to be fast. Things need to load quickly, okay? How many times have you changed websites because it's not loading? It's taking too long to load. Everything is too heavy to load. Speed really, really, really does matter. And one of the things that obviously help and speed is file size, okay? If the page is really, really big, so many pictures, so much content, so much on the mobile, then the file sizes get really, really big. If the file size gets really, really big, it's longer to do, it's harder to use. So as you can see, again, mobile 2014, the file sizes are here, the desktop 2015, and then you see the averages. In mobile 2014, the reason you see it below is because phones have also got better at the same time. So improvements in internet, improvements in speed, improvements in actual ways phones can use the internet, but you still see that the mobile one is the dark one here, and it is much, much, much smaller than the desktop one. So your mobile and your desktop size needs to be different. Again, the same sort of thing with site speed, right? This is the exact thing. If you look at the averages for mobile and desktop, the site speed is always faster for the mobile one. And it even goes up in correlation when you move down into page 1. Okay, so this is the case. And this is one of the takeaways, actually. 74% of users say they will abandon a site after waiting 5 seconds. If you have to wait 5 seconds, people don't want to do it. Everyone is lazy nowadays. You know, if it doesn't happen now, we don't want it. Everything has to be instant. And 46% of people don't return to a poor site. And I'm not sure if you guys have seen this, but Google tells you what sites you stay on. So if you go onto a site once, you read it, you use it, then you come off of it, and you go back on Google, you type the similar search term, Google says, you have visited this site 3 times. You keep clicking this site. So if you keep abandoning a site, when you go back and do a search, Google is not going to show you the one you keep leaving. Google is going to start prioritizing the ones you spend time on, because they want it to be better for you. So again, if 46% of people are not going to return, this is going to be a problem. One of the things that is really, really important in to do with this is, and why you can see it so important is, have you guys heard of a company called EE? EE, has anyone heard of EE? It's like, in UK, it's Orange and T-Mobile. They came together to make EE. So it's a very, very big mobile network. So even they are understanding this. Even these big corporations are understanding this. This is their advert in...
Getting buffer face at the worst possible moments. Yikes. And during the final. Hope she got her vote in. Buffer less, stream more with super fast 4G from EE. Find out why 4G is great. Here.
So you can see, even their companies are using this. This is becoming part of their sales pitch to clients. This is becoming part of what they are saying to their consumers. In fact, and this is probably one you may want to take a picture of, may want to tell people, if your clients are ever telling you, why should we invest in mobile? Why is mobile important? And this was one of my favorite statistics when I was doing research. This one, even I was like, wow, this is crazy. This is a statistic from Aberdeen Group, saying that a 1 second delay in page time equals 11% fewer page views. In fact, what that means is a 16% decrease in customer satisfaction. And what that also means is a 7% loss in conversions for 1 second. For 1 second, that's 1 second delay. So that's a massive, massive, massive amount of conversion power loss, of time loss, of money loss, of resources loss, just because of a little delay. What that actually equates to, FYI, in monetary terms, is if your site typically earns 10,000 a day, then this means for that 1 second delay, you are losing 250,000 in a year. This is in pounds, so 250,000 lira if you want, or even more, because the currency is different, in a year. So you can see how important site speed is for mobile. So I guess the question then kind of comes to, how do we optimize for site speed? How do we get better? So one of the things is obviously to optimize your images. Compress. Use them wisely. Don't put so many where you don't need them. You know, images are great, but you have to remember on a mobile, it's different, right? The user is different on the mobile. Improve your server time. Leverage the caching of your browser. This is stuff that you can tell the technical guys to do. Make sure they think about caching their browsers, okay? Because this makes the file sizes smaller. This loads things up faster. Obviously, we say avoid Flash, Silverlight. Java is a little bit better at doing now, but still, you know, this is the case. Another key one, this is a really, really important one. Prioritize the visible content first, okay? So what that means is if you have a page that is this big and the mobile is going to see this much of it, don't make it all load up at the same time. Make this part load first and the fastest, so when the user sees it, it's loaded. So as he's reading the content, the top part is already there, you know, it's loaded. So he's not feeling like he has to wait. Then as he scrolls down, as he's read that, the rest of it will already be loading. So prioritize your visible content first, the things users can see, make that first. So this is the key takeaway page, so I just put it all on one page in case you guys wanted to write it down, remember it, or whatever. So this is there for you guys. And then I think what we were going to go on to is mobile landing page redirects. So this is what you were saying earlier about redirects and whether we should be redirecting pages to an M dot or further on. When we look at the number of redirects used, okay, again, we see a very, very simple thing. Pre-mobile getting there was a lot more. Well, I say a lot more, but a reasonable fair amount more. And when we look post-mobile getting, it's definitely gone down overall. And even from there, you see the increase as you go further on. Now, this is directly from Google, is the examples, okay? So if we look at this is the tester. So the first site uses responsive design. What does that mean? As soon as he types the URL in, it works, okay? No lag. The second one is when you redirect from example.com to m.example.com, which basically means there's a round trip, okay? It's not a problem, but there is a round trip. So in terms of the speed and the load, it's less optimized. The worst is this one. When you go from example.com to www.example.com, and then they redirect www.example.com to m.mobile.com. And you cannot believe how many companies I've worked with that do this. Whether it's on the mobile or whether it's on the desktop, you see them redirect this page to this version of it, then to this version of it, then to HTTPS, then to this one, and it's just going round and round and round, instead of just going from here to here, here to here, here to here. So these are things you need to think about. I will give a caveat to this. There's a limitation. There's something to be mentioned about m.dot sites. One advantage of an m.dot site is that you can create specific mobile content. So if you feel the need to create specific mobile user content, then m.dot sites are great, because then that page is designed for mobile. Every content on that page is designed for mobile. Everything about the page is designed for mobile. So that is when m.dot sites can actually give you some advantages. So obviously with SEO, there's never a clear-cut answer. We don't work with PPC. You know, this is like puzzles. You have to figure it out. You have to do testing. But this is why tests are important, and this is why the information and the data and the numbers are important. And again, the risks. So the risks with redirects is obviously that redirect errors are a big problem. Irrelevant redirects are also a big problem. If you have to keep redirecting it on your site, there's obviously more than one page. If you've got 1,000 pages, that's 1,000 redirects that you need to put in. If you get wrong ones or irrelevant ones, slower time, slower pages. If one is not done correctly, then as you go from that page, it's not loading up the next page, and then you've got more problems. So you have to think about, even from your perspective as an SEO, it's much easier to just say use responsive design, because then you don't have to do as much either. So one of the things, obviously, that we do, and there's probably numerous places you can do this, is obviously use a mobile crawler to crawl your site and see what's going on. So in Searchmetrics, we have obviously our site structure optimization, where you can turn it into a mobile agent, and from the mobile user agent, you can crawl it as a mobile and see what the problems are, or if the file sizes are too big, if the load times are too big. That's where you can get some deeper information. And then I wanted to just break away, actually, out of this and tell you some strategic tips. So this is some of the things I tell my clients strategically, which is, one, optimizing for location-based search, because as a mobile user, you're out and about, like I said, you're on the go. So local search is important. It is getting more and more important as time goes on, because obviously, if you are out and about, then local search helps a lot, because then your search term and your search result is a lot more relevant as well to where the person is, to what they're doing. And obviously, with that comes schema. So there's a lot of questions being raised as to schema and whether it is the new SEO for SEOs. Because what schema allows you to do is tag up information within your website. So without Google having to figure it all out, you are telling Google what's important. You are telling them where the information is. You are telling them that this is a recipe website. This recipe is this difficult to create. It takes five steps. It takes 15 minutes to prepare. And what Google starts to do with schemaed information like that is starts to display that in the search results. It starts to make it more engaging for the user when they're searching. So this kind of information really, really helps users. And there's also another thing that I want to say, which is a strategic tip. Think a bit like a child, okay? And what I mean by this is, when you do something, say, so what and why? You know, keep asking yourself why when you look at the data. So I mean, be a bit like this kid here.
The sun hasn't come up yet.
Why?
Because the sun comes up later.
Why?
Well, the Earth goes around, and when it turns a certain amount, the sun shows on the horizon.
Why?
I don't know.
Why? Why don't you know, Papa?
Because I didn't pay attention in school, okay? I didn't listen in class.
Why?
Because I was high all the time.
So ask why, okay? Do it lots. And why I mean by asking why is you need to think about why the user is typing what they're typing, okay? Think about what they actually mean when they're saying it. It's like when your girlfriend says it's fine, you need to think about why she's saying it's fine. You know, it's not fine. It's never fine. And what we find is that 36% of web searches, when they were there, they're actually showing different results to their desktop equivalents. So when you're searching, it's not even the same search result that's showing up. You know, in fact, 23% were completely different domains, just something completely different. And this is because of differing user intentions. So I said think Thai food. Now, why I mean that is because if you are on the mobile and you are out and about, and you try to think about, you type Thai food, right? If you're on your desktop, more than likely, and you type Thai food, it's going to throw in some recipes. It's going to throw in some information, some of this, some of that, so you can create Thai food. If you're on mobile and you're out and about and you click Thai food, it's going to show you Thai restaurants, right? It's going to show you local things that are helping you. It's not going to tell you, you're not going to be on the train and it's going to show, this is how you create Thai food. You're not going to start pulling out all of the ingredients on the bus, on the metro, you know? This is why you need to be thinking about these differing intentions. So the reason I was saying why and asking this kind of information is because if you can break down the device, so this is obviously another thing that we have in the platform. So one of the things is breaking down the data by the device type. So you're seeing the search word, and you're seeing what percentage of it is coming from mobile, what percentage of it is coming for smartphone. Because I said, remember, the pages don't, your whole site doesn't have to be ready. Well, obviously, it's better for your site to be ready, but pages are optimized individually. Pages are looked at individually. So when you're able to break down the device type by the keyword by the device type, you can see if some keywords have a lot more smartphone searches than desktop searches. You can see if loads of people are searching for this in mobile over everything else. And when you're doing this, then when you ask why, okay, then you can plan your strategy for it. So a lot of my clients are kind of thinking about this and doing this, and this is also kind of where you start to think, okay, well, if these terms are being heavily used for mobile, then I will tell my client this is maybe a very important keyword for mobile. That changes everything, because that means I will use maybe a different content. I will use different ways. I will show the links. I will say different things to the person. I may say, look at your local store. I may use location search. There's so many different possibilities when you know why people are doing what they're doing, okay? And it is true, like I say, the world is changing. We have, you know, this kind of thing happening where you're just not looking everywhere. How many times you've bumped into someone while you're looking at your phone, or the other way around, where you're walking and the guy is not looking at you, he just bumps straight into you. The world is even getting even crazier. In, I believe it's Japan, they actually have this. There are actually lines on the streets that tell you if you're using your phone, you walk on this side. Because this is crazy, all right? We've come to a crazy part of life now where mobile sidewalks are a thing. So, I mean, you definitely need to start thinking about it maybe a little bit more. And the next thing that is even more kind of futuristic and important is listening tools, okay? So one of the key tricks and tips that I will tell you guys is as mobile search develops, as talking to your phone develops. You know, before, if you talk to your phone, you're crazy. Now, if you talk to your phone, you're in the future. You're smart. You're cool. You know, talking to Siri and having a conversation is now fun. So as mobile search changes, as mobile search develops, You need to think about what that means. Now, people forget that mobile search, when you're talking to your phone, it's not futuristic, you know, super cool, crazy. Really, when you break it down to what it is doing, it makes everything so much simpler. What is it doing? When I say something to my phone, they are just recognizing what I am saying, yes? They write it out in words, and then they search for it. At the end, the keyword is not dead, you know? At the end of the day, it's just wrapped up in a different package, okay? At the end of the day, they're still searching. The search volume still ticks up 1 when you search it. So that's why one of the things, if you look at the search volume for call mum, it's really, really big, you know, because everyone just types call mum, but it's still searching these kind of things in your phone. And this is what's happening. So what I would say to be kind of future-proof for this, and this is really one of my key things that I say to people, is think about what people are saying, how they are saying it to their phone, how they are saying it to the Google. Even when you're typing in Google now, you write sentences. Where is the best restaurant? Before, you used to write best restaurant. Oh, this is rubbish. Restaurant best. You know, we used to do this, what, 3, 4, 5 years ago? This is how you used to search, right? You don't do that anymore. You say, where is the best restaurant in London? Where's the nicest place to eat? Where can I get the best clothes? You know, you write all of this. So there is room for page content to become more conversational in style. You can have these. And really, if you learn one of the key tricks that I've got that really does work is think FAQs, okay? Frequently asked questions can get you so much traffic you can't even believe, because Google starts to see, in your frequently asked question, you see it's always conversational, right? When you read it, it's how someone would ask it to you. Where is this? Why is this not working? Why is this? What can I write about this? Now, if you're thinking about a topic, that adds so much more content around the piece, you know? FAQs on page, you start to see loads more of them. I don't know if you've noticed, but you'll see. Now you've looked out for it, you'll notice, oh, look, it's FAQ here, FAQ there. And even the content in the body is becoming a lot more conversational. People are doing this. So this is one of the things that's happening a lot because of mobile, and it's getting even more important. So I guess that is one of the key things for me. But if you have any questions, always feel free to ask. You know, my Twitter handle was still Shyam, and like you say, Searchmetrics is in and around the area. So I hope this was interesting for you, and I hope you managed to get some key takeaways, and I hope no one fell asleep. But like I said, I'm Shyam. Thanks a lot for your time. I mean, sorry. Yeah. Another round of applause for that one. Thank you.